For the better part of 30 years, I struggled. At various times, it was depression, anxiety, feeling worthless, feeling unlovable. I've been locked up in a mental hospital before. I've been suicidal before. I've been a drug addict and dropped out of college due to it. In fact, I lived with a coke dealer briefly as well. I've nearly overdosed mixing alcohol and pills. I've made just about every poor decision short of shooting heroin. Totally unable to get my shit together. In toxic relationships with romantic partners, or just lopsided friendships. And, I was a gifted and talented and advanced classes kid all throughout school, yet here I am waking up at 5 a.m. to stock shelves at Kohl's part-time after dropping out. And that was all before the worst trauma of my life hit me in my mid-30s, and I spent 3 years in absolute hell. Everything in my life fell apart, just barely surviving, barely hanging on to sanity. I loved computers and video games from the moment I laid eyes on them when I was about 5 years old. As a teenager, with the internet, I escaped to online games for 3 main reasons. First, I could let people see only what I wanted them to see and feel safe behind my monitor. Second, I could create a different life where I could be who I really wanted to be, but wasn't in real life. And third, it kept me distracted from how awful I felt about myself in real life. But distracting myself didn't solve the problem that my real life was not going the way I wanted. I was constantly plagued with intrusive thoughts, just dragging me down. It's like being encumbered in a video game where your bag is too full, you can't run, you can't jump, you just barely shuffle along, constantly feeling worn down, just all this weight weighing on you. The fears, the thoughts, it's like you're always at war with yourself. I spent a decade and a half trying to figure this out and fix it. From studying self-development, being in therapy at various times, trying all sorts of techniques from CBT to meditation to NLP, you name it, I've probably done it. And these things certainly have their place and help. But they're just like getting upgraded gear or some better spells to fight with. But you're still fighting yourself all the damn time, and barely making any real progress in leveling up. It's like trying to grind in an area where the mobs are all 10 levels higher than you. And I just kept coming back to, why the hell can't I figure this out? Why do I suck so bad at life? If you're anything even remotely like me, chances are you have dealt with some trauma in your life. And I'm really, really sorry for you if that's the case. Trauma is truly an epidemic in our society, and we just keep taking more pills and escape more and more to games, or TV, or drugs, or sex, or whatever else. I think the gaming world is particularly impacted by this. It never fails that 9 out of 10 people that I talk to on an MMO, as soon as I bring up trauma and overcoming it, their ears perk up and I'm getting asked questions. I'm being told stories of horrific experiences, and it is just, it's really heartbreaking seeing so many people struggle. Beliefs inform thoughts, which inform actions. The poor beliefs I had, and the shame born out of all my trauma and grief over so many years kept holding me back. Yet now I'm not a drug addict, I'm not suicidal, I'm not even remotely close to any of that. I love myself. I can be incredibly vulnerable with people. I'm happy, I have meaning and joy in my life. And I can play games not because I'm escaping to them, but rather I play them because I'm enjoying time with friends I love. Or even better, I'm using the games as a medium to be of service to others, which feels great. See, the real answer to all these struggles isn't little bits of upgraded gear and spells through techniques like CBT, though they help. It's legitimately gearing up and rating on the big final bosses, which are the traumatic events that occurred and the lessons from them which are plaguing you. The work I do with clients is divided up into 3 parts. First, we need to identify what is holding you back and figure out a plan of attack. I'd say we need to identify what you want, but often as you clear out what's holding you back by changing your beliefs, you find you don't want the same things you wanted before. So what gear do you need? Where's the cave we need to go to? Like, what are the coordinates? Do we know how to fight this boss? You need to identify and prepare. And then the second step is the raid itself. We're going into the depths of the darkest caves to take on the ugliest, baddest bosses plaguing you and keeping you down. And we're gonna kick their asses and take their loot. And in this case, the loot is freedom. Because when those traumas are sorted, and the poor lessons you learned from them change, and your beliefs change, you free yourself up emotionally. You aren't encumbered any longer. Most people just need to knock out 2, 3, 4 of these big bad bosses, usually, and suddenly it's like you have a totally different life. And then now that you're cleared up and not held back, what is it you want? How do you want to level up in real life? How are you going to get it? How can I support you along the way and hold you accountable to achieving your dreams? If you're struggling in these ways and are sick and tired of it all, and if you're ready to finally be done with it all, it's gonna take some deep work, but it's possible. You can check out the Twitch streams, the YouTube videos, join our Discord, or ultimately just end up connecting with me. Contact me through DM or the contact form on the site about how we can work together to where you start winning the game of life.